Hey, Sean here. Welcome to the fourth episode in our workplace incident investigation series. Today I'm going to talk about the actual incident report and the documentation involved. In an incident investigation, there is some general information that should be included in all incident reports. Okay? As you proceed within your organization, you can continuously tweak it to make it best for your workplace. When you are writing the incident investigation report, note only the facts, analysis, corrective measures should be included on the report. Okay, we don't want to put any opinions, right? Try and just keep it as facts. The report should be a clear picture of what occurred and what will be done to prevent it from happening again. Ensuring it is clear will help us later on if we need to refer to it when we're completing any workers' compensation forms or OSHA Form 300 log, etc. I guess it depends on the part of the world where you are. When you're developing a report, make sure it keeps all the necessary information, okay? But don't, at the same time, make sure it's simple enough that everybody can use. A multitude of people within your workplace are going to be maybe using this form, so you got to keep it simple for everybody to use, right? Okay. If it's too complicated, people will spend too much time trying to figure out how to do the documentation and not actual time, and they won't spend enough time on the actual investigation itself because they might worry about it. Okay, so that's where I say try and keep it simple. Okay, I've seen this before. Too many people trying to figure out the document rather than doing the investigation right off the bat. And a lot of the times is because they don't do enough of them, right? If nobody's there to tell supervisors or whatever to do it, they might not even do it or report it. So if we have something that's simple they can do, then it'll probably get done. I myself have used many different investigation report forms. I've used computer ones. Actually, one of the best ones that I liked was an actual computer program that did it. But that's because I have a lot of experience with it. What I found with the supervisors and leads and foremen is the computer just scared them, right? We got to remember when people go in to become a supervisor or foreman, when they initially started their trade, they wanted to work with tools, not computers, not be desk people. And all of a sudden we're throwing paperwork and administration after them, and they just don't want to do it to begin with, right? So let's try and keep it easy for them, help them if we need to. Another reason why I suggest that just keep a notepad, fill out some notes while you're doing the investigation, and you can make it look pretty afterwards on the document with help either from other supervisors, managers, leads, safety personnel, whatever, right? So one of the things is we want everybody to be good at it, right? We want everybody to be good at it, but there's a catch-22. We want people to be good, but what happens is the only way to get really good at in doing investigations is doing a lot of them, right? And so the catch-22 is if we're doing a lot of incident investigations at our workplace, then we're having a lot of incidents at our workplace, and we don't want that. Okay, so we want to prevent that. Now, if you're a big company and you have other people that can just specifically do investigations, good. But the information basics I'm giving you are for some of those companies that don't have anything. This is just something to start with. Get something going. Give you some ideas. Sure, if you have other training, maybe I can give you a pointer or two. But this is for the people that don't have anything, right? Let's get some pointers to start out with and go from there. For the investigator, filling out the report could be almost like taking a test, right? If he or she is well prepared, then completing it will be okay, fine, right? If you're prepared for your test, it's good. If you do it a lot, it's good. The incident report should be a simple, convenient method of listing all the information about the incident for future use. When we complete an incident report, it should provide a written summary of the chain of events that happened leading up to the incident and after, and the incident itself, right? And maybe even after the incident, immediately following, okay? When used properly, an incident report can be another one of those important tools that we use in controlling and reducing incidents at the workplace. So an incident report, just for general, an incident report has generally 6 major sections. Okay, we know in the end we want to figure out what happened so we can correct it doesn't happen again. Okay, number 1, general information. Sorry. This section includes space for personal data about maybe the injured employee, the exact location and time of the incident, and maybe the specific job or task being performed. Number 2, the description of the injury, illness, or damage. In this section is space for the description of the injury or illness, okay, maybe the damage that occurred, if there was any medical or first aid treatment that was provided, the location of the injury on the body part maybe, was the employee taken for any treatment to another facility? Okay. Number 3, the description of the incident. This section's for the investigator's statement of facts, okay, along with the statements of any of the personnel involved. Number 4, analysis. This is the part of the form the investigator's detailed analysis of the incident and identification of the cause and equipment or property that may have been damaged. Number 5, preventative or corrective actions. Okay, both immediate and long-term actions should be identified here, right? Along with the names and persons responsible for implementing these actions or corrective measures. Number 6, dates for completion. Okay, these dates should identify the corrective actions and when they'll be implemented and when they're supposed to be completed. Then we can have a little checklist to make sure they're done. I'll mention later on in the video. Make another copy of that separate from your incident report. Once you file it away, you can keep your immediate or your corrective measures out just for referring basis. Okay. After the report is completed, it should be reviewed by management, ownership, to make sure that we get approval on any corrective measures that need to be done, any actions that need to be taken. Okay. So now I'm going to bring up on the screen, I'm going to show you some different examples. They're pretty basic, the ones I got for you, but they're just examples of what an incident report form will look like.
So this first form I got is about as basic as it gets, right? You put your company name, who is involved, injured, what happened, date, time, where it happened, location within your facility or job site, okay? Writing down some of the immediate causes and maybe some underlying causes. Was there any training, instruction, orientation, pre-job assessments, any of that documentation or stuff that happened beforehand, if at all? We're going to write down some ideas to how we can prevent this in the future, any recommendations for further actions, who's responsible for it, date and time they should be completed, who's the person in charge, and then we need to have it reviewed by management, and then they can make anybody else can make any other recommendations. So the second form is a 2-pager, and we got company name. If you put a file number, we're going to on this one here, we're going to decide what kind of incident was. So is it an injury? Is it a property damage? Is it a major potential fire spill? Maybe even write in near miss in there. Incident date. We got the time and location and area. Okay, what is the injury? Was it a first aid, medical aid, modified work? Was it lost time? Was it fatal? Name of the employee, shift, occupation, right? We can get some of that information in there. Go down to property damage, description of the property, description of the damage, estimated cost of repair, right? Somebody's got to pay for that. And that's why we investigate property damage too, right? So it doesn't happen again and we don't keep wasting our money. Actual or potential loss that might have happened. Okay, type description, estimated cost. We get into the second page here, and it's the evaluation of the risk potential if not corrected. Okay, so what's your loss severity? What's your what's your frequency for reoccurrence? And we're going to write the description of the event. If we have diagrams, it's here too, but while you're doing your investigation, you might just include pictures and drawings, that type of thing. Any witness statements, here's where we can put our witness statements, and then we can attach them and refer to who gave the witness statement. Okay, any immediate causes, underlying causes, any corrective actions. Okay, so if they're short-term or long-term, any recommendations. So we also want to write in there who's responsible for those corrective actions and a date to complete them. Okay, so this third sample I got is another 2-pager. So we got the location of the incident, we have who's the foreman involved, the date that it happened, the date it was reported. A lot of times that can be different. The time the incident was reported, who was it reported by, what's the name of the injured worker. Okay, and then underneath we'll have injury, near miss, damage, spill. Was it a first aid, medical aid, that type of stuff. We're going to write in our information about witness statements, which we're going to attach. Then there's a section for like your work environment conditions for the time of the incident. Could that have been a factor? What's the description of the incident? Write down that so we can get that chain of events of what happened. Okay, second page, any diagrams, we can attach any diagrams or pictures within the file. What do we got for direct cause? What's some indirect cause? Any recommendations, short term, long term, we put the names and dates of the people that are responsible, when they're responsible by. If there is damage or anything else, what was the estimated cost of the incident? Where the foreman can review it, and then it's sent to senior management, and then we keep it on file.
Summaries of these incident reports can be developed, and we're gonna keep track of maybe any trends that might be happening. Okay, with these trends that might be happening, we can set our priorities on how we want to further develop our safety program within our workplace. Any changes that might need to be done, right? So remember I mentioned earlier about keeping an extra list of those corrective actions or measures to refer to, okay? This is so we can ensure, like a little checklist to make sure that we can assure that these actions get completed. Also, we can, because it has the list of the people responsible, we can give reminders to those personnel responsible for the actions or measures, okay? And now, once we do any actions, measures, let's make sure that we communicate any alterations to any policies, procedures, systems, practices, anything within the workplace. Make sure we communicate that to all the people in the workplace, right? Or for sure, whoever is involved with it. A breakdown in communication can lead to further incidents or hazards within your work environment. Now, reviewing the summary of the incident is also good to do within, let's say, your scheduled safety meetings. Okay, this will allow employees to hear and maybe have some input, ask questions about it. But it's also going to do a couple other things too. One, it's going to let your employees know that you have an incident investigation process in place, or policy, or whatever you want to call it. Okay. Number two, they're going to know that corrective actions are being taken care of, corrective measures are being taken to make it a safer workplace. And number three, it also lets them know that management is taking further steps to ensure a healthier and safer work environment, right? Now, this is a fairly basic series on workplace incident investigations. For in-house training, have your designated personnel follow the process even for very small occurrences. Okay, this will always keep their mind rolling in the problem solving and solution process. Also, the big thing is, do not exclude near miss incidents. investigate them with the same diligence that you would an actual incident, okay? Just because somebody did not get hurt doesn't mean it wasn't, couldn't happen, okay? Or damage was almost done, but it wasn't done. Let's investigate those too, because it could have been, and it might still in the future, right? It's better to be proactive than reactive. If something falls, if something falls and it lands beside you, just because it didn't hit you and hurt you, doesn't mean that it could have. And I've seen too many times at workplaces where people just kind of fluff that off, nobody got hurt, so they don't worry about it. Meanwhile, it could have done some serious damage to some. Okay? So what I mean by proactive is let's figure these things out before something happens. Instead of being reactive is most companies that I've seen is they don't implement a safety program until somebody gets hurt because they've had some organization, government organization, fine them or give them shit and say you don't have a safety program in place, and no they did. Or they hurt somebody and then they develop their program. Well, develop your program before you hurt somebody, right? So so this has been a little bit about the incident report. If you have some comments you want to leave them down in the comments section. Okay, if you found this helpful, leave that down in the comment section as well. Be sure to share this with your friends, family, and coworkers, and in the meantime, have a safe day.